Prime Month. This is the cheat sheet for Monday, December 19th. 6 days away from Christmas. How about it? All right, so last Thursday actually, I mentioned that, hey, a funny thing might happen on the way to the Iowa caucus. You might get a winner that you didn't see even a couple weeks ago. I mentioned that you'd have Newt, you'd have Mitt, and Ron Paul. That those were your three candidates that could pull out Iowa at this point prior to the debate last week. Well, the most recent Iowa caucus polling, and I never like to look at one poll, but even when you look at the averages, beginning to paint an interesting story. I mentioned that Ron Paul very well might end up being the winner. Well, the latest polling data we have out of Iowa this morning actually has Ron Paul in the lead. Newt Gingrich falling to third behind Mitt Romney. Still, when we take a look at a running average of all the polls, Newt Gingrich does have a 1-point lead over Ron Paul, who is now in second, just a point behind Newt, and Mitt just a little bit, a couple points behind them. So, the bottom line here is it is wide open in Iowa, and there's nothing else that's going to be a big newsmaker, most likely, with the candidates between now and then. And remember, when we all get back from the holidays, that Tuesday, January 3rd, that's Iowa Caucus Day, so it's on as soon as we get back. Should be interesting, and Ron Paul just might have his moment in the sun. Remember, Iowa likes to surprise. Mike Huckabee came out the winner in the Iowa caucus 4 years ago. Twitter ruling could have huge online implications. Federal government brought a case against a guy who was accused of harassing a Buddhist religious leader. Well, that case was thrown out. A federal judge at the end of last week ruled that online speech, including tweets, is actually protected free speech, and that it was not internet or cyber type stalking. So the federal government lost its case, and you're now protected theoretically by this court ruling, well, to say pretty much whatever you want to in tweets, at least until we see new future rulings. But this was the first of its kind regarding tweets. Rather interesting that they are protected free speech. Improved GPS. This is something we can all agree in. Oh my gosh, I nearly ended up getting us killed last Christmas. Ashley and I went on our skiing trip into the North Carolina mountains, and GPS took us onto a dirt road, which was iced and snowed over. We didn't know that. I'm sure the road, had we actually not begun sliding backwards down a mountain, would have gotten us to where we were planning on going. Well, thankfully, there was a scary yet happy ending to our story. But there could be a happier story into many stories that rely on GPS technology. Lockheed Martin is working on technology that should have accuracy and detail to within 3 feet of where you're traveling. It should be here no later than 2014, but we still should have to wait a year. They say no sooner than 2013. All kinds of things like the top office coffee makers that are rated on my physical cheat sheet today. Check it out. We shall see you tomorrow.